Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
It's an Eyewitness News exclusive. New video shown in the trial of an LA firefighter and his mother. They're accused of attacking a woman for feeding stray cats in their neighborhood. More of that video, plus the alleged victim's first interview.
Serious new allegations in the Ray Rice scandal. That Rice himself told the NFL commissioner months ago that he punched his then-fiancée in that elevator.
If you think it's hot today, just wait. It's going to get a lot worse. The September heat wave is going to last for several days. Good evening. I'm Mark Brown in for David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. An LA firefighter and his mother on trial accused of attacking a woman for feeding stray cats in their neighborhood. Prosecutors say surveillance video shows just what happened. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth has the exclusive video and interview with the alleged victim.
Shocking surveillance video of a man attacking a woman in the Adams district of South LA played in court today. Eyewitness News was in court as prosecutors laid out their case against LA City firefighter Ian Julian and his mother, Lynetta Fontaine. The pair accused of attacking 47-year-old Rebecca Stafford for feeding stray cats in the neighborhood.
He said that they were pooping in his backyard. And that they attacked his dog. It got hostile, and then I got punched and knocked out, and I don't know. I woke up a little while later. I didn't remember really what happened.
Stafford talked to me before she headed into court to testify. She claims when she regained consciousness, Julian and his mother helped her up and then lied.
They told me that I tripped and fell and hit my head on my car.
Did you believe them?
I wasn't sure.
That is, until this surveillance video came out.
I really don't understand why it escalated to that point and where the rage came from.
Julian is charged with battery causing serious bodily injury, and his mother is charged with accessory after the fact. The defense claims, as seen in the surveillance video, it was Stafford who instigated the heated confrontation, not Julian.
She was belligerent. She was angry. She was hostile. Stafford, and you saw this, saw it with your knife, takes cat kibble and throws it in Julian's face. Some of it gets in his mouth, some in his eyes.
Mother and son have both pleaded not guilty.
I don't want to ruin people's lives, but at the same time, I'm not the only person who's been assaulted helping animals.
The firefighter is on paid administrative leave from the fire department pending the outcome of the trial. If convicted of the charges against him, he could end up in prison for 7 years. In downtown LA, Leo Stallworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Breaking news tonight from the state of Ohio. The man convicted of killing 3 students in a high school cafeteria there has escaped from prison. Authorities are searching for 19-year-old TJ Lane. Police say Lane escaped with 2 other inmates about 5 o'clock this evening. One of the escaped inmates has already been captured. The 2 remaining inmates are considered to be dangerous. It's not clear how they escaped from prison. Last year, Lane pleaded guilty to shooting 3 students at Chardon High School back in 2012. A potentially major development in the NFL's handling of the Ray Rice domestic violence case. There are reports that nearly 3 months ago, Rice told Commissioner Roger Goodell that he had punched his now wife, then fiancée. If true, that contradicts the commissioner's own statements this week. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson is live in our satellite center following the latest developments. Alex.
Mark, Commissioner Goodell was a no-show at tonight's Ravens games. He did not issue any statements today, but it's some statements that he made earlier this week that have many people calling for him to go.
Ray Rice isn't on the football field tonight, but his story is certainly overshadowing the play of his former team, the Baltimore Ravens. CBS and the NFL Network dedicated most of their first 45 minutes of their telecast to discussing Rice. They did not air a scheduled musical performance by Rihanna, saying it would send the wrong tone. Of course, Rihanna was the victim of punches thrown by her then-boyfriend Chris Brown. Rice punched his now wife, Janae Palmer, in a Las Vegas elevator. Tonight, ESPN is reporting Rice admitted that to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in June. That would contradict what Goodell told CBS News this week, that Rice's story about what happened was, quote, ambiguous.
The question becomes, did the NFL drop the ball, or was the NFL willfully ignorant about what was on this tape?
Well, we certainly didn't know what was on the tape. but we have been very open and honest.
An AP source says the tape of Rice and Palmer in the elevator was delivered to the league months ago.
Did you know that a second tape existed?
Well, we had not seen any videotape of what occurred in the elevator. We assumed that there was a video. We asked for video, but we were never granted that opportunity.
Some NFL players are questioning that.
It could have been a better job done, because if TMZ can get it, why couldn't the National Football League get it?
Some are calling outright for Goodell to resign. Anthony Davis of the 49ers tweeting out simply, #BuyRoger. The former head of the FBI, Robert Mueller, is now leading an investigation of the incident, trying to piece together exactly who knew what when. Palmer is standing by her husband, but tonight, ESPN is quoting a hotel security staffer on duty the night of the attack who says after Palmer regained consciousness, her first words were, quote, "How could you do this to me? I'm the mother of your child."
A lot of men underestimate this.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein is among the bipartisan group of 16 female senators who sent a letter to Commissioner Goodell saying, quote, "If you violently assault a woman, you shouldn't get a second chance to play football in the NFL."
Now, this whole situation may have united the Baltimore Ravens team. Even though they were big underdogs against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right now they are winning that game, though, still not completed. Reporting live from Satellite Center, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Alex, thank you. A South Florida businessman pleaded not guilty today for his alleged role in a human smuggling case involving LA Dodgers star Yasiel Puig. Documents in a civil lawsuit against Puig named Gilberto Suarez as one of the Miami-based men who financed Puig's 2012 trip by boat from Cuba to Mexico. The initial price was $250,000, but it was raised to $400,000. A Cuban boxer who also took the trip says Suarez and the others were supposed to receive a sizable percentage of Puig's contract. Puig later signed a $42 million contract with the Dodgers.
Well, the heat is here. We're in for a string of triple-digit days. The mercury climbing to the high 90s today in Woodland Hills. The heat took some people by surprise, some even comparing it to cities like Las Vegas or Phoenix. In the meantime, the temperature signs were already in the triple-digit range by lunchtime in San Bernardino. It wasn't too uncomfortable at Fairmount Park and Riverside as long as you were in the shade. Up at Lytle Creek, meanwhile, the cold water is always an attraction when the temperatures climb. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak tracking the heat wave for us now. Jonathan.
If you can find cold water, go for it. We've got more than a string of days. We have like a rope of days. We have a heat wave that we haven't seen like a heat wave like this in a long time. So 89 was our high today in downtown LA. Normally we're 84. You look at the current temperatures. Let's check out Long Beach, 76. Normally you're in the lower 80s for high temperatures, so you're pushing. Now look at Burbank, 88. You're actually above your average high temperature right now at 8 o'clock p.m. So it is a warm, hot evening in some spots with temperatures like 84 in Ontario, 85 in Van Nuys and Santa Clarita. It is a toasty one for sure. And look at that, Palm Springs, 99 still this evening. So we head through tomorrow morning, 68, clear and mild, but temperatures quickly soar. We're at 91 by noon in downtown LA. Temperatures pushing records. How long does this heat wave last? I will tell you about that and actually some potential rain relief in the 7-day forecast coming up in a few.
All right, Jonathan, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Prayers, ceremonies, and tributes all across the country today as America marked the 13th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attack. This is a live picture from New York City. You can see the new World Trade Center and the twin beams of light where the original Twin Towers once stood. Earlier today, we heard the tolling of the bell, a moment of silence, and the reading of the names of all the victims at Ground Zero. President Obama, the First Lady, and Vice President Joe Biden led a service at the White House. The president then traveled to the Pentagon.
13 years after small and hateful minds conspired to break us, America stands tall and America stands proud.
At the same time, hundreds gathered in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where Flight 93, the fourth hijacked jetliner, went down. Nearly 3,000 people were killed on 9/11.
U.S. soldiers serving in Afghanistan attended a memorial service at Bagram Air Base to remember the victims of September 11th. The commander of the U.S. 10th Mountain Division told the troops that Afghanistan is in a better place than it was 13 years ago. The attack in 2001 was followed by the U.S.-led war in Afghanistan. Memorials and services were held across Southern California today, including Pepperdine University. The school paid tribute to the nearly 3,000 victims with a flag representing each life lost installed on the university lawn.
And another memorial, this time in Anaheim, honored the victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks. It included a chilling sound, the real-life transmission calls from first responders at the World Trade Center. Residents, active and retired military personnel, and first responders paid their respects at the Grand Plaza in Anaheim.
Secretary of State John Kerry is in Saudi Arabia, meeting with leaders there to garner support for President Obama's new plan to defeat the ISIS terror group. Kerry is seeking to enlist leaders in the Middle East to support a global coalition to defeat ISIS. Meanwhile, top-ranking senators met today for a closed-door briefing on the group. The president was to increase the number of military advisors in Iraq to 1,700. That's what he wants to do. House Speaker John Boehner says the president isn't going far enough.
And the president's made clear that he doesn't want U.S. boots on the ground. Well, somebody's boots have to be on the ground.
The president's plan also calls for giving $25 million in military aid to Iraqi forces.
Up next here at 8 o'clock, talk about a cliffhanger. A South African judge leaves Oscar Pistorius in tears as she releases just partial verdict. Plus this story.
She was drenched in, like if she had barely gotten out the shower. That's how hot she was, how sweaty she was. Her hair was soaked. It was horrible.
A little girl left on a sweltering school bus for hours. What the school has to say to her very angry parents.
And an E. coli mystery in the Pacific Northwest. One boy is fighting to survive after his young friend died. Now the hunt for the source of the deadly bacteria.
A South African judge today announced there's not enough evidence to convict Oscar Pistorius of premeditated murder. But as ABC's Lama Hassan found out, the Olympic athlete could still face years behind bars when the verdict is announced in his trial.
In the final days of this dramatic 6-month-long trial, the judge reading out her ruling, crucially ruling out all murder charges, saying the prosecution had failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Oscar Pistorius deliberately killed his model girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp.
The state clearly has not proved beyond reasonable doubt that the accused is guilty of premeditated murder.
Explaining his actions during the trial, Pistorius says he fired 4 bullets through his bathroom door, killing Steenkamp on Valentine's Day last year, mistaking her for an intruder. Throughout this trial, the prosecution was claiming that Pistorius killed his girlfriend in a fit of rage following an argument. His defense team had been trying to paint a picture of a disabled, vulnerable man. With no eyewitnesses to the killing, ear witnesses became crucial to the case. The judge questioning the prosecution's witnesses, who claim they heard screams and then gunshots, implying there was a fight between the Blade Runner and his girlfriend.
The evidence of witnesses must be rejected merely because the witnesses failed to describe the events in exactly the same way.
The judge also slammed the Blade Runner's time on the stand.
The accused was a very poor witness,
adding that did not mean he was guilty, but that it is clear his actions were negligent.
Shooting the deceased dead was a genuine mistake.
The court adjourning for the day with no verdict, but with murder ruled out, manslaughter is still an option, which carries a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. Lama Hassan, ABC News, London.
A little girl survives being abandoned inside a hot school bus for 4 hours.
So I started asking who picked her up, why don't you know where she's at? So of course, like any other mom, I start panicking.
The 4-year-old hopped on the bus yesterday to go to her Head Start program. The driver parked the bus but apparently failed to check for anyone still inside. The girl was trapped in the bus from 11 a.m. to 3 in the afternoon. The Texas sun pushed temperatures outside up to 96 degrees.
She was drenched in, like if she had barely gotten out the shower. That's how hot she was, how sweaty she was. Her hair was soaked. It was horrible.
The girl was checked out at the hospital and is going to be okay. The driver was replaced today. The school superintendent says they are investigating the incident.
A stunning image of a solar flare this week. NASA released this image one day after another powerful solar flare. It was recorded by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory spacecraft, which watches the sun. Officials say the flares pose no danger to anybody here on Earth, but a geomagnetic storm like this can temporarily disrupt GPS signals, power grids, and radio communications on Earth 2 or 3 days after erupting.
What difference does it make when we're on the surface of the sun? Right now, it feels like it.
Right.
You are talking about this heat wave, and we are all ears.
Triple digits today for many places. That's nothing because it's only getting warmer. But you know what would help? Maybe some rain, and it's in the forecast. So that's something. You got an from Yeah, well, not for everybody. For the Mountaineers. We'll get to the details on that. It's kind of late in the game. So in the meantime, we got to deal with this, dry conditions. Live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. Yeah, live sweep heading around. You know, it'd be nice if we saw some showers out there, but it's just not going to happen anytime soon. 101 was your high in Santa Clarita today. Riverside hit 101. This is just the beginning. Looks like as we head into the end of the weekend into next week, yes, this heat wave is going that long. Temperatures are going to get even hotter. 75 in downtown right now, current temperatures. 85 Santa Clarita, that's your current number. 84, good evening, Palmdale. Same in Victorville, it's 84 right now. 85 in Van Nuys. As we head to the coast, you are going to warm up close to 90 degrees as we head into the next few days for high. 76 Long Beach, 73 Santa Monica. It's nice at night right now, all right? But as we head through the afternoon times, you know it's just oppressive, and that's going to be the way you can expect it to be for the Saturday and Sunday, Monday time frame. It's high pressure. That's the troublemaker here. It's just bearing down over us, and as we go into the next few days, you'll see it stays over us and even builds in stronger Sunday and Monday. That's the time frame when we really see the temperature skyrocket. Friday's still hot. High pressure, that ridge right here is still over us, and then it gets reinforced on Saturday and into Sunday. So no relief from the heat until late in the week, next week, when we see this moisture from what will be left of what is now Tropical Storm Odile. Winds of 60 way to the south. Look how slowly it is moving. West-northwest at 2 miles an hour. So it's going to take its time as it hovers over the south area of Baja. And as it heads up to the west portion of Baja, that will be moisture that will get yanked up into our air. We've seen that happen several times so far this Pacific hurricane season. And it looks like, again, that will translate into showers for the mountains come Tuesday, Wednesday. You got to wait until then for any kind of rain relief. So for tonight, temperatures above average, 80 in the low deserts for morning lows. Just a little bit of patchy fog possible at the beach, but it's going to be a mostly clear morning. Look at all the triple digits tomorrow. 104 Santa Clarita, 102 in Encino, 94 in Los Angeles, 109 in Palm Springs. Stay safe. This is actually dangerous heat, folks. You know, stay hydrated, stay cool as best you can. As you go through Saturday and Sunday, you're into the upper 90s, Monday 98, and then we'll finally kind of cool down on Tuesday, Wednesday, but not really. Thursday is the next day when we finally see temperatures back into the 80s, I know. Valleys, i.e. triple digits for the majority of your forecast, 106 by Sunday. The mountains, looks like you could get some rain relief, again, Monday, but especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Until then, you're actually in the 80s for the weekend. It'll be very warm for you. And the high desert, not getting a break from it either. Breezy and hot tomorrow, 103 on Sunday, and maybe a couple of storms by next Wednesday, Thursday. Another check of the weather coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A 5-year-old boy in Oregon has been upgraded to serious condition after contracting E. coli. It is the same infection that claimed the life of his 4-year-old friend. This after the children shared a sandwich. Health officials are now testing samples to track down the source and to find out if there are any other cases connected to it.
Wrapped in a blanket, surrounded by family and friends, 5-year-old Brad Sutton is recovering in a Tacoma hospital from a suspected E. coli case. Just 2 days after, his 4-year-old friend Serena Prophet died from symptoms associated with an E. coli infection.
This is, I don't know, the hardest thing I've ever dealt with. It's just you're blindsided. You don't expect it to happen to you, and here it is.
Sutton's uncle, Brad Roberts, says the families of both kids were gathered Labor Day weekend in Lincoln County, Oregon. Both children shared a turkey sandwich and just days later came down with flu-like symptoms. Prophet tested positive for a deadly strain of E. coli. Her body shut down. Her family took her off life support Monday night.
She had a room full of people praying, and they did the tests for... There was no activity.
Health officials in Oregon are trying to figure out how the children became infected.
We started an investigation almost immediately. We have sent people into the field. We've taken samples or cultures of various possible sources.
Brad Sutton is doing much better, active and watching cartoons, while doctors continue to watch him.
Health officials say they have checked the restaurant where the children shared the turkey sandwich but did not find the source of the E. coli strain. They say it will take several days until the test results are back, and they also acknowledge that they may never find the source.
Well, coming up here, a new weight loss drug gets the green light from the FDA. We'll tell you who may be eligible to take it.
Plus, free health care for thousands in L.A., why so many people with insurance are still seeking help.
And we ride along with police as they pull over this driver. It's not drunk driving. They say it's something else, the new and frightening danger on the road, putting your family at risk. Stay
A new weight loss drug has been approved by U.S. regulators. It's called Contrave, made by La Jolla-based Orexogen Therapeutics. The FDA says it's approved for people who have a body mass index of 30 or higher, which is the level at which people are considered to be obese. Contrave is also approved for use by people with a BMI of 27 or higher who also have a weight-related medical condition, such as diabetes. This is the third in a string of approvals for anti-obesity treatments. And making overweight people or obese people feel bad about their weight doesn't motivate them to lose weight. In fact, it may actually contribute to their weight gain. That's according to a study from University College London. Researchers surveyed nearly 3,000 British adults over the age of 50. 5% of them said they have negative experiences because of their weight and actually gained an average of about 2 pounds. The study is published in the journal Obesity.
What happens when a giant panda breaks her tooth? You bring in the panda dentist, of course. Bayun chipped her tooth eating bamboo at the San Diego Zoo, and yesterday she got a shot to numb her while it was repaired. She also got x-rays and a cleaning while she was there. Bamboo is chewy, but to get enough nutrition out of it, a panda has to break it apart and then chew a lot. Bayun often spends 12 hours a day just chewing bamboo.
Wow. Well, we are updating the evening's top stories next year at 8:30.
Including the serious new allegations in the Ray Rice beating scandal. Will it cost the commissioner of the NFL his job?
And several BMWs torched. Now police say they arrested the wrong man. The suspect they are looking for tonight.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, shocking video in court as a firefighter's trial gets underway in alleged beating. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
I'm Mark Brown in for David Ono. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Today, prosecutors laid out their case against LA City firefighter Ian Julian and his mother, Lynetta Fontaine. The pair are accused of attacking 47-year-old Rebecca Stafford for feeding stray cats in their neighborhood in South LA. She exclusively told Eyewitness News she was punched and knocked out, and doesn't remember what happened. Julian is charged with battery causing serious bodily injury, and his mother is charged with accessory after the fact. Both have pleaded not guilty.
ESPN is reporting that former Ravens running back Ray Rice admitted to punching his now wife to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell back in June. That would contradict what Goodell told CBS News this week. Meantime, California Senator Barbara Boxer has put together a letter to Goodell calling for a real zero-tolerance policy against domestic violence. It was signed by a total of 16 female U.S. senators. The letter was sent to Goodell expressing shock and disgust over the Rice elevator video. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller is heading up an independent investigation into the matter.
New information in an arson case at a Santa Monica auto dealership. A man detained for torching several BMWs has been released, and police are now looking for a new suspect. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia has the surveillance photos police want you to see.
A spectacular fire lights up the night sky.
So the fire was like explosive kind of, and it was just like really big flames, and it started like shooting like fireworks and stuff, and it was like really big flames, and it just started like exploding, and it was really scary.
A fire, investigators say, was deliberately set. Haley McMillan and her mother had just left the gym about 10:40 last night when they saw someone suspicious.
And all of a sudden this man in a very dark outfit with a jacket on and a hoodie started running across the street towards the BMW dealership over here. And he had a big, huge red can, a gas can, I guess, on one hand on the right, and the left hand he had a, what would you call it, not a lighter, but like a bomb type thing, and like a bottle with a cloth, and it was on fire. And he doused all of the front vehicles of the BMW dealership, and then he took the lighter and threw it at it.
Police arrested a man shortly after arriving on scene, but he is no longer a suspect. This is the man investigators are now looking for. Santa Monica police releasing these surveillance photos just a short time ago. They were taken at a gas station near the scene of the crime. The suspect, police say, bought $4 worth of gas 20 minutes before the dealership fire broke out. While the search continues for the suspect, the owner of Santa Monica BMW is assessing the damage. 4 cars were destroyed. A 5th car is damaged but can be repaired.
You do business and you have this many cars out, and there's a lot of crazy folks out there. This is just part of doing business.
Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
People who work in the area say they believe the suspect is a transient who frequents that stretch of Santa Monica Boulevard where the BMW dealership is located.
Progress in the battle to contain that wildfire in Yosemite. Rangers now say it should be safe again by Saturday to reopen the closed-down trails. That includes the climb up to Half Dome, perhaps the park's best-known landmark. Rocky terrain in Yosemite's backcountry has slowed the fire since there's not much fuel there for it to spread.
It's a somber day as the nation remembers the lives lost in the September 11th terror attacks. Today marks 13 years since those attacks happened. On board the USS Iowa in San Pedro, a special memorial program was held with a presentation of colors, ceremonial wreaths, and a fireboat salute. Each victim was remembered in a reading of names. The Orange County Fire Authority Pipes and Drums took part in a 9/11 remembrance ceremony at the Richard Nixon Library in Yorba Linda. The event featured musicians and several speakers, including Lieutenant General David Berger, a Marine Commanding General at Camp Pendleton. On this anniversary of 9/11, General Berger says it's important to honor the thousands of U.S. servicemen and women who are now stationed overseas.
And Los Angeles held its own remembrance ceremony hosted by the City Fire Department, giving the keynote address a retired New York City fire lieutenant who lost his son in the attacks. Eyewitness News reporter John Gregory was at the touching ceremony.
With a steel beam from the World Trade Center as a centerpiece, Los Angeles firefighters and police remember the day few first responders will forget.
The section of the World Trade Center that stands here in memory and tribute of that horrible day is also a symbol of resiliency. It is a reminder that Americans will remember, rebuild, and continue to serve their country in times of need and in times of crisis.
Joining the ceremony, retired New York firefighter Lieutenant Paul Geidel.
13 years ago, I lost my son, firefighter Gary Geidel, along with 11 other members of Rescue Company 1.
For many firefighters and police in attendance, Geidel's loss is partly theirs, too.
We're all the same. We're all, you know, a lot of the firefighters left here to go help in New York. And you can see with the number of brush fires that we have in Southern California, how other departments come over here and help us. And it's, like you said, it's a big family.
For first responders, this isn't just a day to remember those who lost their lives. It's also a day to remember their commitment and what they would do in a similar situation.
For police, when there's gunfire, we're the ones running to it. For a fire department, for firemen, they're the first ones running to the fire, where everyone else is running away. So it's really a call to duty.
As bells mark the end of watch for those who died on September 11th, first responders prepare themselves for the next call, the next emergency, where lives are once again going to be put on the line. In Echo Park, John Gregory, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Dozens of members of Congress are urging the Supreme Court to recognize protections for pregnant workers, specifically reasonable accommodations such as light duty so pregnant women are not forced to give up their jobs. The court is hearing a case later this year from a UPS delivery driver who says the company asked her to take unpaid maternity leave rather than offer her a less strenuous position as her doctor advised. More than 120 members of Congress sent a brief to the court arguing that a lower appeals court erred in siding with UPS.
It's one of LA's most complicated and persistent problems, homelessness. But one group thinks it may have a solution. A new coalition of public agencies and private foundations want to spend more than $200 million over the next 15 years to provide housing for 1,400 of LA's most vulnerable homeless people. The money will also go towards expanding a computerized tracking and placement system that will provide the homeless with services like medical and psychiatric care. The Home for Good project is getting its funding from private nonprofits along with public agencies like Veterans Affairs.
We can provide access to an affordable place to live and the supportive services that they need to really thrive in that housing.
City Councilman Jose Huizar is calling for the city to create a homeless czar, a person dedicated to the task of tackling homelessness in the city.
Today was the first day for Care Harbor Los Angeles, the free mobile health care clinic. Thousands lined up over the past few days to get a coveted wristband, giving them a chance to get free medical, vision, and dental care. Health specialist Denise Tador reports from the sports arena in Exposition Park, where Care Harbor opened its doors this morning.
From the bottom of her feet,
I'm having a lot of nerve pain in my feet,
to the top row of her teeth.
I need to have all this right here removed.
Sandra Robinson of Los Angeles is finally getting the specialty care she needs. For years, she's felt she couldn't express herself.
If you're going around and you can't smile because you got no teeth or cavities in your teeth.
On the floor of the LA Sports Arena, hundreds of people are telling me about their relief and gratitude. But there's also nervousness.
Hola, me llamo Dr. Bahedi.
Thanks to the latest smartphone apps, a new service is being offered at Care Harbor's 4th annual large-scale free health clinic. On-the-spot oral checks. A fluorescent scan reveals something suspicious in Rosa Amato's mouth.
That's why you're here. We want to make sure that you stay healthy.
Dental hygienist called in an oral surgeon, then an ear, nose, and throat specialist. Rosa is going to need a biopsy.
I feel a little nervous because I'm not too sure what the doctor's going to say, but I am hopeful.
She's a student and part-time housekeeper. She doesn't have insurance. Before she leaves, volunteers will explain her options and connect her to ongoing medical services.
We can try to get these patients plugged into the system under, the current health system.
And another patient who needs to get plugged in. This Koreatown resident who didn't want to be interviewed had an extremely high blood pressure, 210/100.
He could be at risk of having what we would call occult heart failure.
This week, organizers expect to give services to 4,000 people, 1,000 more than last year. Yet organizers admit their efforts are just a drop in the bucket. But that little drop is life-changing to people like Sandra.
Oh, girl, I'll be able to smile like everybody else.
Care Harbor has offered EKGs and echocardiograms before, but this time more machines are available. Also new on the list, partial dentures. Patients come in on one day and come back for their dentures on the next. That's why this service won't be offered on Sunday, which is the last day of the event. In Los Angeles, Denise Tador, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Up next, the new driving danger on the road.
And what a sight. Really beautiful, but this Icelandic volcano is forcing some people indoors.
Jonathan Novak here. Yes, we know it is hot. It is only getting hotter. I'll tell you about that and whether or not the Doppler, the live mega Doppler 7000 HD, is going to give us any rain relief. Details ahead.
Some marijuana advocates today demanded an end to what they call the government's 100-year war on cannabis. They gathered on the steps of City Hall this morning. This week marks the first known pot bust in America. It happened in 1914 in Los Angeles, in the area now known as Chinatown. On hand to support the push for more legalization were current City Council member Paul Koretz and former Council member Bill Rosendahl. Rosendahl says the drug got him through his bout with colon cancer.
Well, you've seen drunk drivers tonight, a different kind of road hazard. This year, Colorado and Washington became the first states to legalize recreational marijuana. Now, a new concern on the roads as we find out from ABC's Clayton Sandell.
It's the new challenge for cops patrolling Colorado's highways.
Any marijuana tonight? Do that, some of that, sir. Okay.
Drivers getting behind the wheel stoned.
Hey, you know why I stopped you? All right, man, you are driving all over the place, okay? Hey, man, how much marijuana have you smoked tonight?
Police say the signs of drunk driving can be obvious. But judging marijuana impairment is tougher.
Just one joint?
For now, police are relying on standard roadside tests.
Follow the end of my pen with your eyes and your eyes only, okay? Take a series of 9 heel-to-toe steps down that line that you're seeing.
There is no breathalyzer test, and results from drawing blood can take weeks. Plus, experts say seasoned users are less impaired with more in their blood, and newer users are going to be more impaired with less in their blood. This year, Colorado State troopers have written nearly 230 citations for driving high, compared to over 3,100 for alcohol.
People need to know that it's a significant problem.
Dr. Christian Thurstone and colleagues found that as marijuana has become widely available in Colorado, the number of drivers testing positive after fatal crashes doubled. Valerie Walton is recovering from serious injuries after she was hit by a driver police say was high.
It makes me upset because they don't realize that it does affect them.
But different studies disagree on whether stoned drivers are actually causing more crashes. This driver failed his roadside test.
Seeing some body tremors. I'm seeing some, like I said, your red eyes. Place your hands behind your back.
And now could be headed for a different kind of joint. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
Our new heat wave is just getting warmed up. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak's complete forecast up next.
Plus, the Baltimore Ravens hit the field after a week under the microscope regarding the Ray Rice beating situation. NFL highlights ahead in sports.
And a closer look at former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's official portrait. What an artist apparently did to remove Maria Shriver.
New at 8, a spectacular new image here of the erupting volcano in Iceland. Lava fountains spew from a large fissure on the Bardarbunga volcano in the middle of the country. The volcano has been erupting since late last month. Hasn't caused any damage, but people there are being urged to stay indoors because of a significant amount of sulfuric gas in the air.
Goodness, what a sight.
That's how it feels.
It's going to feel like it did feel like that today.
I know, it's going to get even hotter. Before we get to the forecast, I forgot to mention this to you guys. Folks, we have the hyperlapse I was just showing you. We have that up on the Facebook page. Now, we have a newscast, and I don't know if we have the video ready or not, but if you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/ABC7Jonathan, you will see one of our newscasts like you haven't seen it before in hyperlapse. What is that? Go to that address and check it out. It's very cool.
It is.
So do that, and then try to find a way to stay cool and hydrated, because the next few days, temperatures are not going to stay steady. They're not going down. They're only going up. It was 100 in Ontario today, 101 in Riverside, temperatures in the upper 90s in Van Nuys, Lancaster, and even at Dana Point, it was 80 degrees. Right now at LAX, it is 73. Your normal highs are in the mid to upper 70s, right around that area. So, man, it is just a toasty one already, and we are not yet at the peak of this heat wave, which is going to go for a while. Victorville, Palmdale, 84 right now. Good evening. 82 Santa Clarita, 67 in Oxnard, and it is a hot Palm Springs, 99 degrees. Why are we so hot right now? Well, high pressure, a very strong area of high pressure that's going to be building in over the next few days, even stronger. Sunday and Monday will be the warmest days, and then things start quote-unquote cooling down a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday, but you'll see there really is no big change in the next 6 days. And then we'll finally start cooling down. Look at this Friday. You still see this ridge right here? That's high pressure, the center of it over us pretty much. And then it continues to build and get stronger on Saturday and even stronger on Sunday right over our area. And that means temperatures will get up to possibly breaking some records. The records are pretty high this weekend, but it looks like we could break a few, if not push them. So where do we get any relief? Well, Tropical Storm Odile is way to the south of us, moving very slowly, creeping along at 2 miles an hour. Winds of 60. This will become a hurricane sooner than later, and it's going to, it looks like, maintain that hurricane strength as it moves slowly up to the northwest, and that could eventually bring some moisture into our area, as we've seen several times this hurricane season. That will translate into rain. Time frame? Late in the forecast starting Tuesday. These are the overnight lows. You can see a lot of 70s in the area. Encino, Glendale, morning lows at 70 degrees. Very warm, and then very hot. For high temperatures, you'll see a lot of triple digits. Check it out. Wow. 104 Santa Clarita, 95 Anaheim, but 105 Lake Elsinore, 104 Beaumont and Riverside, Apple Valley 98, and 82 in Oceanside for tomorrow's high temperature. 7-day forecast, LA Metro, Orange County, powered up by AccuWeather tonight. Oh, boy, this is dangerous heat. This isn't just a couple of days. This is a 5-day, 6-day heat wave. A little bit of tropical moisture from Odile late in the game Wednesday, Thursday, but that's just going to bring a few clouds, it looks like right now. No rain for L.A., no rain for the valleys, just triple digits. 101 to 106 between tomorrow and Sunday. Extreme heat, still hot next week while we cool down into the mid-90s. And the mountains, yes, you should see a few showers, it looks like. Again, we've seen that pattern several times this hurricane season for the mountain areas. Looks like it's going to repeat next week. 30 to 40% risk of some storms next Tuesday and Wednesday. Until then, temperatures around 80 degrees. High desert, play it safe out there, folks. High desert's in the triple digits for 5 days. Stay hydrated, stay cool as best you can. Dallas is going to have the latest on this forecast on ABC7 at 11. Back to you guys.
Okay, all right. Jonathan, thank you. The Angels looking to stay hotter than the Southern California weather, reeling in their 8th straight win and completing a 3-game sweep over Texas. The win tonight accomplished with Oakland's loss to the White Sox, allowing the Halos to open up a 10-game lead in the AL West. We'll have full highlights on Eyewitness News at 11. Now to the NFL. Baltimore Ravens putting a tough week behind them. They're hoping, taking on Pittsburgh. First quarter, Steelers driving. Ben Roethlisberger's pass complete, but Justin Brown fumbles the ball. Ravens capitalize on the ensuing possession, and Joe Flacco finds tight end Owen Daniels alone in the end zone for the first score of the night. Leading 10-6 at the half, Flacco to Daniels. The connection still strong in the third quarter when the two hooked up for their second touchdown of the night. Ravens get the much-needed win at home. 26-6 is the final. Team USA basketball taking on Lithuania with a trip to the FIBA finals on the line. Former Artesia High star James Harden didn't score a single point in the first half, but he erupted for 16 in the third quarter as the U.S. pulled away from Lithuania and went on to win 96-68. The U.S. will play Sunday for the Basketball World Cup Championship against either France or Serbia. After the game was over, there was some pushing and shoving. U.S. coach Mike Krzyzewski got involved. Both teams left the court peacefully. Golf now, Tour Championship in Atlanta. Bubba Watson with a great front nine, shot 2 under, but his back nine was derailed with a double bogey on 13 that left him in second place with a 3 under 67. Chris Kirk shot a bogey-free round of 4 under, including this really nice chip and for birdie on the 17th hole, pushing him into a tie for first at 4 under. High fives all around for Kirk after that chip. Billy Horschel had a chance to take the outright lead on 18, but his ball broke left just before the cup, and he really can't believe it, keeping him in a tie with Kirk after firing a 4 under 66.
Well, a new portrait of former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger has been unveiled in Sacramento, but if you look closely, there appears to be a smudge on the painting. Was it an attempt to cover something that was painted there before? Walt Gray from our ABC affiliate in Sacramento has the story.
Monday was a star-studded event, the unveiling of the latest ex-governor's official portrait. The Capitol was jammed with celebs. People were literally packed to the rafters. There's always an extra buzz when it comes to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Upon closer inspection, though, the portrait has a smudge, a blotch on the lapel. Something was painted over almost carelessly. I showed Capitol tourists today a photo of the portrait.
Does that look a little sloppy to you?
It is. It is really sloppy. It doesn't look professional. It is.
Multiple reports say that the smudged paint is covering a lapel pin with Maria Shriver's picture on it. The painting was in the works since 2003 when the couple was still together.
It could have been touched.
touched up better. So you can clearly see the smudge.
Absolutely.
I contacted Schwarzenegger's publicist and asked if the smudge was originally Maria Shriver's likeness. I was told, quote, "I think people have grown tired of the media racing each other to the bottom of every story," end quote. While that may be true, it doesn't answer the question as to why this official portrait looks like it's been attacked by El Marco.
Well, you know what? I think it's interesting that it'd be something for people to talk about when they come over. That's why we're here talking to you. That's what we're doing. It'll be a nice conversation piece.
The official portrait will be hung on the 3rd floor of the Capitol next week. The other governors will be moved closer together for their new neighbor. And perhaps the final time Gray Davis will have to move aside for Arnold Schwarzenegger. In Sacramento, Walt Gray, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
More news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. A local man takes us behind the scenes of a prison talent show where inmates learn to be comedians. Plus, a West Covina woman becomes the first quadriplegic to walk in the runway during Fashion Week in New York. She tells us what it was like to make history. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Anyone who plays golf knows the game's hard enough without having to deal with the dancing bear on the course.
This is the greatest thing in the world. You are hilarious, buddy.
This video posted on YouTube is from a golf course in British Columbia. The man who shot it was playing around with his buddies when they came across the bear cub doing a sort of pole dance with the pin flag. And that wasn't all. When the bear finally got tired of playing with the flag, it snatched one of their balls and made off with it.
Oh, man. Now, how do you play that?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened. We'll have to ask Rob for that. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Have a great evening.
Good night.